That's also one thing. The other, and I would say the other main thing is a holdover period. A holdover period or holdover clause is something that also causes people to be hesitant about signing a BRA. And I also think that there is a little bit of confusion with the holdover period being confused with the length of the contract. Now, we already went over the length of the contract being how long you decide that this professional agent is going to work for you and with you. And that usually it's up to 6 months, or you have to agree anything longer than that. And in my particular buyer representation, I do not sign for longer than 6 months, because when I go house hunting, we find what it is you're looking for. We clearly understand what you need, and we make some really, really aggressive moves. We find properties that are not even on the market, and we will get you a property much quicker than 6 months. So remember, that's length of contract. The holdover period is something a bit different. The holdover period, I think, can best be described with an example. If you are a buyer and you are in contract with your professional agent, and that agent takes you to house A, B, and house C, okay? And for whatever reason, because remember, when you're in a buyer representation agreement, you are not obligated to buy. So for whatever reason, that contract ends, or you step out of that contract, and then a few weeks later, when situations change, you're like, hey, we want to house hunt again, let's call this person. So now that old contract is away, because you're not working with that agent. You now start working with another agent, and you say, okay, yeah, we're going to sign a BRA with you, we're going to work with you, or whatever the case is, or even if you don't. And this new agent introduces you to houses, let's see, XYZ. So with the first agent, you looked at houses A, B, C. With the next agent, you looked at houses X, Y, Z. And then you take a look and you think, I really think that house A was the one. It's just, my head wasn't in the right space at that time. But, can you take us back to this house that we saw? Okay, so they take you in, they take a look, and you're like, yeah, this is it. We want this house. And you put in the offer, and then the deal closes. Now, fairly, and I hope understandably, you can see that there's a bit of a conflict of interest there, because it was really the agent that you had the first contract with that introduced you to that property. And so that's what's being enforced, that if you are introduced to a property with an agent, the first agent you were with, and all of a sudden another agent comes in and somewhat poaches the deal. It may be intentional, it may not be. But you had that contract with that person, and that deal closes on the house that they introduced you to. At that point, the holdover clause is going to say that commission really belongs to the first agent, because it was the first agent that introduced you to the house, right? So that's holdover period, and that is really just to protect the agent that's really doing a lot of work to show you properties and doing their homework for you. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, again, I really personally believe that a standard buyer representation agreement is only in the benefit of a agent. Like, I don't think it's really in the benefit of a buyer, especially with so many agents out there. You have options. You have agents that won't even ask you to sign one. In my opinion on that, I do have an opinion on that. And that is really, if I have a document that I know is a formal document, and if I'm doing good business, if I'm professional, and I know that formal document should be signed, and I don't even have, the guts or the desire to ask my client to sign it, as the buyer, I would say, is that really the person that you think will have the guts to then go and negotiate a lower price with a seller? If I don't even have, the willpower to ask a client for something that they should sign, do you really think they're going to have, what it takes to go and ask for a lower price on the house that you want to buy, right? You want to get the lowest possible price to get that property, right? You don't want to just buy it up here when you can get it down here. But if you have someone that's never willing to even ask it, that's never willing to negotiate what should be negotiated, I think you're getting a disservice paid to you. So that's my idea about that. Now, what I've done and what I think is an amazing, amazing compromise that both benefits myself as a professional that works really hard for my clients, as well as benefits my clients, because my whole business, like I said, is built on offering them great value and knowing that when I work with Sonia, She is going to offer me amazing opportunities to purchase homes. She's going to get me great prices on them. She's going to show me houses that I could never have even found on my own. So what I've done is I've basically created an extension to the standard buyer representation agreement. My buyer representation agreement is completely acknowledged as a contract by the industry, by my brokerage. But what it does is it adds in a few things that really balances out the value for not just me, but also for my buyers. And my buyer representation agreement says that there are a few values in there that I'm adding in for my buyers. One of them being that I'm going to negotiate the price of the property that you want to buy. I'm going to negotiate it down by $10,000. And if I do not negotiate it down, for whatever reason, if I'm not able to, I will pay you. I will pay you $1,000 at closing if I'm unable to negotiate it down. So that's an amazing value that I offer my clients. This is all in writing. It's attached to the formal buyer representation agreement. The other thing, like I said, that I do is I strike out the commission clause that says that my buyer will have to pay me commission if the property they find doesn't offer full commission. I strike that off. We both acknowledge that. That then becomes a formal part of the BRA that they are signing with me. As well as I also include a cancellation guarantee. And that cancellation guarantee is really just, I think, common social etiquette to say that sometimes there are personalities that really don't match. And perhaps I'm not the best fit to serve you, or you're not the best fit to be my client. And like I said, I really only work with people who are like, yeah, we need a property now, where we're looking, we want to buy. Show us what you have, find us something, get the best price for us, and get us approved for a mortgage, and we're ready to buy. So like I said, there are situations, maybe it's only once out of 10 or once out of 20 that ever someone is not compatible to work with another agent. But if that is the case and a person feels like, hey, you know what, I don't feel like I'm being prioritized, I don't feel like I'm being taken care of fully, I don't want to be in this contract anymore, and I don't want any hassle getting out of it. There is a clause that I added in that simply says, if you are unhappy with this at any point in time, I will release you out the contract to whoever it is that you would like to work with. And that is really just to offer my clients peace of mind. Because there are some things you just kind of have to try out. You have to try out people to see if they are going to be the best fit for you. And as a professional that really takes pride in knowing what it is my clients are looking for, I've not had to exercise that at any point, but I'm happy to put it there so that my clients do feel a sense of ease and comfort when signing that. So I hope this really explains the BRA. Go back, watch it again. If you're thinking about buying, in the next 30 to 60 days, go back and watch it. Really understand what a BRA is. Understand that, signing a BRA is not mandatory. Not signing it doesn't mean that you're locked into a contract that you can never get out of. If you are thinking about buying or selling in 30 days, I would love to sit down and talk with you and get to know what it is you're looking for. I always have properties that are both on the market and in the public, but also properties that would be very difficult for you to find, but I'd be happy to share with you, as I do with my other clients, properties that like distressed properties, bank-owned properties, and properties that are being sold exclusively, so they don't even have a for sold sign on the lawn, but they are for sale. So I would absolutely love to connect with you. If you are thinking about buying, please give me a call, 647-390-4900. And any other questions about BRAs can be answered when we talk. I'm happy to go over it. And like I said, really and truly, when you're choosing a professional, understand that there are procedures to follow. Just like a doctor, just like a lawyer, in any industry, there are people who are amazing at what they do, and those are usually people that have really high standards of the people that they will choose to work with, because they're so serious, because they are going to dedicate their time and their energy to making sure that they find you what you're looking for. And then you're also going to have people that are not so interested in doing it the formal route, and you are going to have to make the personal choice to decide what type of professional you're going to work with when you decide to buy or sell real estate or invest in real estate. So I hope this is helpful. I know the video ran a little bit long, but I really just wanted it to be a conversation that kind of brought out all the concerns and worries that I heard from people about BRAs, and also just, sealed it up nicely, knowing that, you know, I've had an amazing outcome using buyer representation agreements. My clients are satisfied, I'm satisfied, and it's really just a really solid business relationship that's created with them. So Sonia K. Platt again with Cloud Realty, thank you so much for watching, and happy house hunting.